Hi and welcome to another video. Thank you very much for joining me. Today I am going to be covering landscape photography with a telephoto lens. I have on me my 100 to 400mm Sigma, but this applies to any brand, any focal length, pretty much above say 70, 80mm, so whether you're using a 70 to 210, 100 to 400, even 150 to 600. What I see is a lot of people automatically, when they go into the landscape, take images with wide angle or ultra wide angle lenses. And I'm going to go today in how to get the most and how to get really great images using a telephoto lens. The location that I've chosen for this video is in North Wales. It's Lake Vyrnwy. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go up to the waterfall, if you can see the waterfall right in the distance, and I'm going to get some shots on the way using the lens to really demonstrate the capabilities and how you can get those shots. And it's worth noting today that we have had so much rain in recent weeks. The waterfall, which sometimes in summer is just pretty much more of a trickle, is absolutely roaring. So I'm expecting to get some fantastic ones, picking out the detail using the telephoto lens. The first technique I wanted to talk about is layers. And what I mean by this is layers in the landscape. Let me just spin you around and show you what I mean. So I've got my camera set up. You can see that I'm pointing at the layers in the trees. We've got the foreground trees at the front, then we have the layers of trees in the background, then we've got the pine trees, and then we've got the mountain ridge lines in the background and the sky in the distance. So let's have a quick look at our composition. You can see what I've got here. I've got the pine trees. Let me just brighten that up just a little bit so we can see the detail. I'll come onto the histogram in 1 second. But you can see there I've got the trees in the foreground. It's leading lines of the branches feeding the eye in, bottom right and bottom left. We've then got the line of pine trees creating this layer, and then we've got the two ridge lines creating the layers into the distance. And then we've got the sky, which has got no texture in. I'm going to underexpose so that I can recover that. Let me bring up the histogram for you guys so you can see. You can see there that I've just got a bit of a peak. So let's capture that image. Got it on 2 second time just so it can stabilize. Really love that image. Really like that image, but it gives you a great demonstration of how you can capture and use layers. And I've just got hit by a really quick rain shower. I've just covered my camera, but what it's created, let me spin you around really quickly. What it's created is an amazing layering in the hills in the distance. So let me share some of these images with you. And this is the power of a telephoto right off the bat for layering images in the landscape. One of these best techniques is often at sunset or sunrise when you've got mist. What I'm going to show you now is just this technique, so hopefully you can practice this in the field. So the rain has passed now, thank goodness for that. That was a really heavy shower that we had. I'm absolutely soaked now, despite sheltering under the trees. I hope you enjoyed those initial photographs of the layers and the effects that you can create. And actually these changeable conditions are perfect for that, because you get that real hazy contrast through the layers themselves, and that's only through the power of telephoto. Okay, right, it is now time after that shower to head down the river towards the waterfall for more techniques with the telephoto lens. I think this rain is in for the day, so I'm going to crack on, so please bear with me during the rain. What I'm going to concentrate on here is detail in a waterfall. We've all seen classic shots of water pouring over a rock, so I'm going to try a few compositions here. I'm going to try one just focused in that you can only get with a telephoto. The other one is this rock in front of it. I'm going to take an image. I hope you can hear me okay, by the way. I'm going to take an image with this rock in the foreground. That's again what you could get with a telephoto to compress the image. You've got that a slight distance between them, and the telephoto gives you great compression between the rock and the falls itself. You can see my composition here. Let me get rid of all the info. I've bounded it by this little rock on the left. You've got the water pouring over in the top thirds there. You've got the exit in the bottom third. You've got the water coming in the thirds. The rule of thirds is absolutely brilliant in this image. I love that image. I love the lines. You see, 1.5 seconds I think is brilliant for this. I did apply my polarizer to cut out the glare so we can get the details in the rocks. And I also applied ND64 so that it just gave me that slower exposure. And this is my second composition. I've bounded it more by the rock on the left and the rock on the bottom. The compression will give me a bit of blur in those, which is what I want. I don't want those to be distracting. We've got the water, we've got more detail in the waterfall now. We've, again, absolutely, this image just smacks of rule of thirds. But this is the kind of thing you can only do with a telephoto. So when you see these images, 99% of them will be taken with a telephoto lens in this kind of situation. Please let me know in the comments below if you've got a favourite or whether you've had success with this technique. I've got a very quick break in the rain. Absolutely brilliant. So what I want to talk about now is the ability to use that compression of a telephoto to capture frames, natural frames. So this is something to keep an eye out when you're on the road or out on the landscape. Just check out natural framing of compositions. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So this is my setup, and as you can see, I'm using my tripod a lot today. Because I'm getting slow shutter speeds, critical to use a tripod for telephoto lenses, otherwise you'll have to push your ISO really high. But what we've got this tree on the left, we've got the waterfall right into the distance, we've got the leading line of the path, but I'm not actually going to use that with the telephoto. We've got the trees on the right as well, and the branches framing it, and then we've got the wall framing at the bottom. So what we can do is use the trees and the wall to frame the waterfall in the distance. If I was to do this with a wide angle lens, the waterfall would be minuscule. I love that. I love the branches on the left. They're all pointing in, they're keeping the eye in the frame, the wall at the bottom. I just clambered up the valley side now. What I've got is a lone tree. You can see the lone tree just there. That's the target of my telephoto lens. Let me show you my composition. Got the tree on the bottom left hand third. We've got a thin sliver of the grey sky. It's very grey today. I've used the polarizer just to bring out a little bit more colour in the bank. The heather is dead, but it's got a lovely orange tint to it. Really like that image. I love the contrast. And this one is the tree slap bang in the centre of the image. And it's raining behind it, but there's no real discernible features. I've moved it along the ridgeline, along the side of the valley, just for a little bit now. I want to do something that I've never seen in anywhere else, and that is to take a vertical panorama, which I've seen people do panoramas with telephoto lenses, which is absolutely brilliant. So what I'm going to do is do a vertical panorama of the waterfall. So the way that I'll do this, if it ever stops raining, is I'm going to do 4 images from the top to the bottom. Why do a vertical panorama, you may ask? Why not just rotate your camera into vertical or portrait mode? Well, the simple answer to that is by capturing 4 separate images, and here are those 4 images, and then merging them. The way to merge them, I use Lightroom, but is to rotate them clockwise or anti-clockwise, depending upon if you start at the top and the bottom, do the panorama merge, and then at the end, with the merged image, rotate it back. And you'll notice that when you're capturing the waterfall or anything of this nature, using this technique, you lose that parallax effect. So you actually retain a great parallel front-on image of the waterfall, rather than the waterfall disappearing into a thin point at the top, which would happen if you were close by. If you want to know more details, let me know in the comments below and I'll make a video or drop you a message on how to do that. So here's the final image. Anyway, I absolutely love this. You can really see the detail in the image, the final image of the panorama merge. Right, let's move on to our next location. I'm on the way to the bottom of the waterfall now, where I want to cover getting low with a telephoto lens. I often see people holding them at eye level or on a tripod, pretty high up. But one of the powers of the compression is to get low. So let's get there, get on location and get a nice composition. Okay, I'm at the bottom of the falls now, and I think it might have finally stopped raining. I am soaking wet. Well, which just goes to prove that actually good quality clothes are required for landscape photography as well as good camera equipment. Right, I want to get low now. I want to get really low. So what I've got is the tripod on its lowest setting. You can see here I've got it on its lowest setting on this particular tripod. Check out my tripod review if you haven't yet. I'll put the link below. And I've got the geared head on, and you can see that I've got it lined up. And this is one of those occasions where what I am trying to do is capture the power But I think that is an absolutely powerful, it really shows the power of the actual waterfall as it falls at the bottom. And this is the power of a telephoto. Even if I was standing here with a landscape lens, you can see that actually the waterfall, you just get that tapers out into the distance. So it's important, and this is the strength of the telephoto lens, to really get into the detail of what it is you're trying to capture, what makes this landscape image. So the rain has started up again. I'm going to call it a day now. I've managed to cover half of what I wanted to cover, unfortunately, but I will make a part 2 of this. So please remember to like and subscribe, and your support is massively appreciated. And I'm going to head back to the car now because it is horizontal rain, the wind is getting up, and I'm going to try and dry out a little bit and get my camera gear dry. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and also check out these videos next. Thank you very much for your time in watching this video, and remember to pick up that camera, get out and get some practice. That is what photography is all about. And until next time, thank you and see you soon.